Hello, let's chat about Hostage by Guy Delisle. This is a non-fiction graphic graphic novel translated for the French by Helge Dascher, 2017. Yeah, Guy Delisle, Canadian cartoonist and animator, best known for his graphic novels about his travels. Born in Quebec, I actually know him from Factory Summers, which I also picked up from the library a while ago, which was a memoir of his summers working at the same factory as his rather distant father, before kind of moving on to his career as an artist. So this book is actually him, a story as told to him by Christophe André, who which occurred in 1997 when André was working for a humanitarian NGO. I believe it's Doctors Without Borders, in the Cossacks, just outside of Chechnya. Um, Very quickly at the very start of the book, he is asleep in a building, and he gets kidnapped. And this book, this 400 plus page book, is the story of his kidnapping. And for the majority of the book, it is him alone in a room, chained to either a radiator, gets moved, chained to a bed, chained to just a hook in the ground. He doesn't. He and his kidnappers can't communicate. They don't have any French. He does not have any, Russian or whatever they are talking. The book is very light on kind of details. It's very much more just about that, as the title says, about being a hostage, about you're suddenly in this room, you have no control, you are chained. He does not know what's going on. He the heartbreaking thing is, at the beginning of his story, it's like, oh, I've been in here for 2 days. Well, maybe by tomorrow I'll be out. And then a week go by. It's like, well, maybe I'll be out in another week. And then a month goes by, and it's like, maybe I'll be out in another month, and continually going on. And him saying, a month in, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna go crazy. I won't be able to take this. And continuing on and continuing on. It has got kind of a hypnotic quality to it, of how it just kind of, it draws you through, of this hypnotic repetition of, it's like one of his kidnappers comes in. He gets handcuffed. He gets taken to the bathroom. He's got a bucket. He washes. He goes back to his room. He eats his food. He gets handcuffed back again. And then there's just, with variations, happens again and again. And it's one of these things where the smallest things can be like can make the break in the routine, can make his day. In one of the areas there is a small little bit of garlic, just left on a sheet there, and he's able to stretch himself out farthest enough to get this little piece of garlic. And he's been subsisting on like watery soup with vegetable soup, and just to have this little piece of garlic, and that taste in his mouth is just, it is so amazing. It is like, it is an event, and you can see why it features in the book. But he's not told anything. It's just, and this book is definitely just kind of a sinking into what happens to a person when they're deprived of all information, of him just kind of speculating, and he can feel himself spinning out, and he has to kind of, no, don't do that. Kind of, you got to focus. You got to get through things one thing at a time. But then it'll kind of come out. He knows that his sister is going to have a wedding, and it's like, did they cancel the wedding? I hope they didn't cancel the wedding without me, and stuff like that. You go deeper and deeper into his experience. So, it's not, it's like, I've heard of other people who've been kidnapped and their experiences, and it's nothing. It's similar in that way. But I think the really effective thing about this book is just how much, going through these pages, and I read this very rapidly. Going through these pages, you are a part of his experience. And the moment when there's an open door, and he kind of goes through a mini crisis. I felt myself going through a mini crisis with him. I mean, no, I do not know. I will never know. Freaking pray to God, I would never know what this experience is actually like. But this is the kind of the great stuff that literature, whether fiction or nonfiction, does, which it draws you in and makes you feel on some kind of a level what that might be like. And that was really, really, really great. The art in here is kind of is ink wash, line drawings, which it's sort of, and you can tell just from that cover, it's just the bareness of it all, like, and it's kind of it kind of fits in for the kind of the kind of the sensory deprivation of, you are in this room and you're just in this room for day after day after day. There's a naked bulb hanging from the ceiling, and that's all you get. There's a thing where when it's dark, it's just like almost like these kind of monochrome things of the darkness there, where it's like, there's that less detail, which I found kind of strangely beautiful and strangely really just evocative of the place, that this pit that he's been left in. It is a bleak book because of the physical and mental break, of how this breaks Andre down. But it's kind of also inspiring because he made it, and it's not because he was like amazing, or he was like, he was a good person. It's like, no, he got lucky, but he was also able to keep himself together. The book shows him, he's a history buff, so he kind of starts going through kind of factoids and the personages of Napoleon's army and all the kind of the commanders. He was into military history, Delisle does a really good job of kind of weaving that through, and it's having kind of there's kind of an artistry here, a very understated artistry, which has sucked you in, but also kind of expresses something about kind of just, how something kind of as banal as a room can be, or a giant open countryside, how that can be quite traumatizing, can be the site of great trauma as well. Really enjoyed this book. Delisle is, going by this and Factory Summers, is somebody whose work kind of creeps up on you, and you're like, holy crap, what's happening? Like, how is he doing this? It's quite powerful work. So I will definitely be looking out for more work by my fellow countryman, who luckily has been translated from the French into English, so I will be able to get to experience more of his work. All right, I've been Jay. More videos later.